there are some rather interesting things going on over at Kings Island. And with some work going on at the old Son of Beast station, people are speculating that Kings Island could bring back its Son of Beast roller coaster in some form over the next few years. In this video, I will break down how exactly Kings Island could pull this off, whether it would make sense for the park, and is the former Son of Beast plot of land the area where Kings Island will open up their next coaster. And remember these two very important numbers, which you'll want to keep in your mind until later in the video. And those are 3 and 2018. But first, let's travel back in time to May 11th, 1999, because this was the day that Paramount's Kings Island announced its brand new, record-breaking roller coaster, Son of Beast, the park's new for 2000 attraction. Son of Beast smashed the record for the tallest and fastest wooden coaster. And don't forget, at the time, it was the only one in the world that took riders upside down. And luckily for me, I grew up around 45 minutes north of Kings Island in Dayton, Ohio, and I was able to follow the construction of the 218-foot tall wooden coaster rather closely. This project was quite the attraction, and while I did love the first drop on Son of Beast as well as the vertical loop, outside of that, this coaster built by RCCA, which is Roller Coaster Corporation of America, was rough, and I mean rough. Sadly, the 218-foot tall wooden coaster that just featured over 7,000 feet of track only operated from May 26, 2000 through June of 2009. Ever since then, outside of a little part of the Son of Beast plot of land being used by Banshee, this area of Kings Island has sat vacant. But could that be changing? That is the big question that we're all starting to wonder. Now that we know Cedar Point is adding Siren's Curse, the all-new Vekoma Tilt Coaster in 2025, this means that 2026 will be a huge year for Kings Island, because Cedar Point will not be getting a large coaster, or in my opinion, a large investment for the 2026 season. But back down to Mason, Ohio, because the last major coaster that was added to Kings Island was Orion in 2020. Ever since Cedar Fair has been calling the shots for KI, this has been the longest that the park has gone between major coasters. With that being said, I think there's over a 95% chance that Kings Island's next coaster will indeed open up in 2026, and that is great news. Now the big question is, why would Kings Island want to bring back this troubled coaster in any form? Even repurposing the name in some way might bring on a bad image. Well, here's the thing. Don't expect Kings Island to open up a new coaster with the same exact name. I think we'll see Kings Island open up a new coaster with the Beast as part of its name if they go this route. And I really do love that because of how legendary the Beast wooden coaster really is. And I'm going to share a quick bold prediction with you, and that is, if Project 2026 for Kings Island is a Beast-themed style coaster, then I think Kings Island would retheme Woodstock Express back to the Beastie. And in my opinion, this really does need to happen. Now, as far as the name goes, again, there's so many cool things that KI could do with this. But more important than the name, let's discuss what type of coaster that this could be. And I think we could see RMC open up a brand new 200-foot tall topper track wooden coaster that offers a beyond vertical drop and a massive vertical loop. Now, of course, I'm kidding, but I do not see Kings Island adding yet another wooden coaster in 2026. With Woodstock Express, the Racer, the Beast, and Mystic Timbers, KI is clearly set in the wooden coaster department for a few decades to come. When you take a deep dive into Kings Island's lineup, you look for the holes. And the three biggest ones that I can see are a new launch coaster, an inversion focus coaster, and one that offers a beyond vertical drop. There are a few coaster companies out there that could easily fit this bill. For the launch coaster, either a Mock Rides or Vekoma would be a great solid pick. Both of these type of coasters would really give Kings Island yet another world-class coaster to add to its already impressive lineup. And we've already seen the success of Copperhead Strike Down at Carowinds and just how great these new modern Vekoma coasters look. But what about B&M? We know that B&M is now very comfortable designing launch coasters, and that's a great thing to see. And it's crossed my mind a few times now, but I wonder when we will see B&M design a more thrilling and extreme version of their Penguin Trek. Those two across seating trains look awesome and very comfortable, and I would love to be able to ride them on a large-scale B&M coaster that offers a layout that's over 4,000 feet long and includes multiple inversions, quick transitions, tunnels, and more. I think this would be a great addition to Kings Island. Another note about Kings Island's next coaster is that it's hard to believe that out of the 15 coasters, only 3 feature inversions. So whatever type of roller coaster Kings Island plans on adding next, I think it's pretty much a sure thing that it's going to offer inversions. There has been much talk about Kings Island's next coaster offering a 90-degree or steeper first drop. And the 2 coaster types that come to mind that fit this description are a B&M dive coaster and a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster. Now both of these are fun rides that the general public would eat up. But for me personally, I would much prefer a Gerstlauer Infinity coaster over a B&M dive coaster. Just because these coasters do more for me and they offer more an intense ride experience and some airtime. But since Hang Time was built in 2018, and we sadly haven't seen any new Infinity coasters open up at the legacy Cedar Fair parks, I think the chance of a ride like this is unfortunately slimmer because of that. As for the dive, you might think that Kings Island would not add a B&M dive coaster to the park because Cedar Point already has Valraven. Well, stuff like that doesn't usually matter, and especially between these two parks, because Raptor, a B&M inverted coaster, was added to Cedar Point in 1994, and 20 years later, we saw Kings Island add Banshee, a B&M inverted coaster as well. So both parks could benefit from adding a dive coaster to their lineup, especially if Kings Island is larger than Valraven. However, there is still one other type of coaster that, in my opinion, makes the most sense for Kings Island. One that would fit the vertical drop, multi-launch, and the inversion holes in Kings Island's lineup. And that would be a Mach Striker coaster. Europa Park just opened up Voltron, and it has done nothing but amaze. This roller coaster model can do so many things, and Voltron is fantastic and a top 10 worthy coaster. So just imagine Kings Island's next coaster offering 6 inversions, 2 launches, vertical drops, airtime, a reverse section, and some wicked twisted elements. If Kings Island built a Mach Striker coaster in 2026, it would become the best coaster at the park and would look amazing being located in between the Bat and Banshee. But would any of these models make sense for a new coaster that would bring back Son of Beast in some way? I mean, maybe there's ways they could do it, but I think it's a little bit of a stretch. But hear me out on this. 2018, that was the year that Cedar Fair opened 4 new awesome coasters to their parks. You had Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point, Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion, Railblazer at California's Great America, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. Now here's the interesting thing. 3 of those coasters were in fact built by RMC, better known as Rocky Mountain Construction. And in my opinion, RMC is the only roller coaster company out there that could build a coaster in the honor of Son of Beast and do it the right way. Just imagine a RMC hybrid coaster that features a lift hill of 218 feet, paying homage to the original Son of Beast, dominating this side of Kings Island. This ride would also offer the world's steepest drop on a hybrid coaster, which by the way would also be beyond vertical, and a layout that would be around the same size as Iron Gwazi's. I don't know about you, but I would love to see a giant RMC coaster that offers the Trust Lift Hill located in this area of Kings Island. If Kings Island would ever get a hybrid, this would be the perfect location for this style of coaster and a ride that is themed to the legendary Beast and pays respect to the former iconic Son of Beast coaster. But let's not get ahead of ourselves too far, because is the former Son of Beast plot of land a for sure thing for Kings Island's next coaster? Because we cannot forget about the giant field that is located in between the Beast and Windseeker. This is where I personally think that Kings Island will build their next coaster still, in the former Vortex plot of land. Though I will say, with all the light teasing that Kings Island has been doing around the Son of Beasts, I am not as sure on that. Out of the 15 coasters at Kings Island, in the showcase video at the bottom of your screen, I ranked them from worst to best, and trust me, you will never guess how I rank the top 5 at the park. So what are your thoughts about the Son of Beast rumors, and what type of coaster do you think Kings Island would build if they went this direction? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and of course keep riding coasters.